What is up, everybody? Tegan here with High Point. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we are very excited to bring to you a new telescope from Skywatcher. It's Skywatcher's foray into dedicated hydrogen alpha solar telescopes, the Heliostar 76. So like, subscribe, and stay tuned as we show you our closest star in amazing detail. So dedicated H-alpha solar telescopes like the Heliostar 76 and white light solar filters, something that you may see in solar eclipse glasses or just filters that you put on the end of a regular telescope, differ in many ways. But before we dive in, it's important to know that you should never ever look at the sun without proper solar equipment or without proper knowledge on how to use solar equipment. The Skywatcher Heliostar 76s are ISO certified and meet all safety standards. That being said, let's dive in. So I mentioned there's going to be a difference between a white light filter and a dedicated hydrogen alpha solar telescope. A white light filter, or mylar film, is a broadband filter, and this is going to allow you to see surface details like sunspots. A dedicated hydrogen alpha scope, on the other hand, is going to allow you to see incredible detail of granules, filaments, and arguably the most impressive feature, solar prominences. These solar prominences erupt from the edge of the sun, and they are multiple times the size of Earth, and they are incredible to see through an eyepiece. These huge arcs of plasma are extremely prominent when looking through the Heliostar 76, but we will get into more of that here in a bit. Let's take a look at the main features and specs of the Heliostar. So first and foremost, this scope is a single stack solar telescope and has a bandpass of 0.55 angstroms. 0.55 angstroms is very close to what you achieve with a double stack telescope. So this single stack telescope allows for double stack performance. You'll see in a couple minutes what I mean. The Heliostar has an aperture of 76 millimeters with a focal length of 630 millimeters, meaning this scope has a focal ratio of f8. This scope comes with a nice dual speed focuser, a Vixen style dovetail with mounting rings, a very convenient and easy to use solar finder, a clip-on sunshade, a 20 millimeter 1.25" eyepiece, a smartphone adapter for easy imaging, and an 11.5 millimeter blocking filter with T-threads for camera attachment. This all comes within a very nice hard case as well. So the Heliostar 76 comes in two packages, one just with the scope itself, but it also comes with the optional Solar Quest mount from Skywatcher. Now we'll be using the Solar Quest in this video, but we're going to be focusing mainly on the actual telescope as the Solar Quest has been out for a while. It's known to work very well with solar telescopes and in my experience has performed absolutely flawlessly with the Heliostar 76. If the Solar Quest is something that you would like us to review, let us know in the comments and that's something we'll look into. Alright, so it's sunny, albeit a little bit windy and partly cloudy, but let's go outside, set this scope up, and let's see all that it offers. Alright, so we have the Heliostar pointed at the sun. It's partly cloudy, but everything should pass here in a minute. We're sitting on the Solar Quest mount because the Solar Quest mount just works. Now is a great time to talk about what we can see through the scope visually. And I will say that the views through the eyepiece of the Heliostar 76 are some of the most stunning and incredible views of the sun that I have ever seen personally. So for this observing session, we're going to be using the 20 millimeter 70 degree field of view eyepiece that comes with the Heliostar. Let's take a look at the sun. So immediately right off the bat, at the 3 o'clock position is a huge solar prominence. And then directly below that are 3 more smaller solar prominences. And directly above the large one at the 2 o'clock position is another solar prominence. You can see some more on the left side of the sun, just not as apparent as the ones on the right side, but the amount of solar filaments that you can see on the surface of the sun is absolutely incredible. The difference in brightness between the dark spots and the light spots is awesome. All right, so now that you kind of have an expectation as to what you could see through the eyepiece of the Heliostar 76, let's take a look at the Trifid tuner system and see how that works. Being a dedicated astrophotographer, I couldn't wait to get my camera on this telescope. I decided to go with the ZWO ASI 533 monochrome as it provides a nice square full disc image without any effort. The blocking filter has built-in M42 T-threads, which makes attaching the 533 and its included 11mm adapter very simple. So let's take a look at how this works in real time. If we look at this live view of the sun here, we can see some very slight surface detail, maybe a couple of sunspots right here, but nothing too prominent. As I slowly adjust the tuning system to the right, you can really start to see those incredible filaments, granules, and prominences that we mentioned earlier start to pop up. Increase the gain and the exposure time a bit, and you can really see what a difference this tuning system makes. Having never really photographed the sun through a dedicated H-alpha scope, or having never really processed data like this, I'd say the results are pretty incredible. Let's take a look at the final image. So the Heliostar 76 from Skywatcher was an absolute joy to use. The sunshade made viewing through the eyepiece extremely simple and comfortable, and the thoughtful addition of the T2 adapters were a great idea because Skywatcher knew that we were going to be attaching a camera to this scope. Luckily, I get to spend the rest of my afternoon viewing that incredible solar prominence that we saw earlier. Watching it change over the course of the day is going to be incredible. As an avid astrophotographer, I've come to realize that a solar scope should be in every astrophotographer's arsenal, and the Heliostar 76 is that scope for me. With this being my first experience processing hydrogen alpha solar data, we want you to experience the Heliostar as I did, so we are providing you the exact data set that I used to create the image you saw before. If you look in the description, the link will take you to the article where you can fill out a form and access our data. If you decide to process the image, make sure you tag High Point Scientific. We would love to see your results. If we like what we see, which I'm sure we will, you may have a chance to be featured on our Instagram page. That is our full review of the Heliostar 76 from Skywatcher. Let us know if you have any questions below in the comments. We will be more than happy to assist. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Tegan, and clear skies.